first off, hey guys, just gonna do my hair really quickly. Take in sections, dip protective spray, and we're gonna put the iron in at the root, give a little turn. You can see that's heating up. We're gonna twirl that out and get that curl in there. Take another section. We always want to curl away from the face because that curl coming in towards your face can kind of overpower, and it just looks a lot nicer, a lot cleaner coming out and not curling those ends, because we want it to be more of a beachy wave. A little bit curled, but the end's still straight. Twirl that out, smooth those ends. Take another section, depending on where you want your part to be. Give it a little spray on both sides. That's going to ensure you're getting the product distributed evenly. And you always want to use something, not only just to protect your hair, but you also want it to hold well for you too. And if the hair is too soft, the curl's not going to stay in for you. So we'll just wrap that out, leave that on for a second, and you can see that it gives just a little bit more of a relaxed curl than it being too tight. Another section, you don't want to go too large on your sections because then the heat won't penetrate through the hair, and another way that it won't hold as well for you. You can see how nice and relaxed the curl is. Twist that out, let that cool down. That's the reason that you're, twisting out that hair, so you're allowing that to cool down, and that helps to hold the curl too. If you're just letting that curl drop before you're letting it cool down, it's not going to hold as well. As it's cooling down and you're just letting that curl hang, it's going to relax it a little bit more. So back here, we're still going to kind of be going away, but we'll start mixing them up so that all the curls aren't going in one direction. It looks a little bit more natural whenever you're switching it up, as opposed to going all the same way. You want to kind of alternate it. So now we're going into the side. Same thing, spraying on both sides of the hair. Nice protective spray. I'm using the Bumble and Bumble Does It All. It's a light hold hairspray. And you don't want it to be too wet because you can singe your hair. So if you let it dry a little bit, you're still getting that hold, the protection against this heat. Wrapping that out and just pulling out on those ends to let that be a little straight. Another section, not too big, curling away from the head. You can see the iron's nice and hot. Pull that through, just lighten up that clamp so you're not pulling on your hair. Oh, I got a little bit of a glare going, sorry guys. All right, we're gonna wrap that out and smooth those ends. You know what, I'm gonna take this and bring this forward this time so you can see how going both ways is gonna give you a nice natural curl and wave to your hair. And there you go. And because that's a little further away from the face, like I said, you don't wanna overpower with your curls. Let's take our section and get it sprayed. Let that dry, kind of run your hands over it. So it's gonna dry for you so you're not hearing that singe. You wanna smooth out. I had a little bit of a wave and some fuzziness going on there, so I kind of just smoothed that with my iron. And that turned out nice. Next section. And if you use a good tool, you're gonna have that heat from the iron, depending on what texture hair you have, whether it's a little finer, you always want to turn the heat down so that it's not frying your hair. Someone with a little bit of thicker hair can go a little higher on the heat so that it's going to hold well for you. And because I went forward underneath this curl here. Remember, I took this forward this way to make it look natural above it. I'm gonna take this curl back. And there you go, nice little wave. Let's split this down in the middle, because if you do too much, your curls aren't gonna hold. If you have too big of a section, your curls won't hold that great. So I'll start back here, and right underneath here, you can see this curl is going back. So I'm gonna take this curl and take it forward this time. Always checking it with your fingers when you start to feel that heating up really nicely. You're gonna move it down and unwrap it so it doesn't get too hot, and smooth that end out. If you don't smooth out the end from putting that heat with your curl from the iron, it's gonna look all fuzzy and it won't look complete. You won't get that look, the desired look. So once again, we're taking it away because we're closer to the face, pulling it through, wrapping that out, letting that cool down, but still it's not pulling too much, and that's curling down, so it's gonna hold really nicely. And then right around the face, we wanna smooth that because of those little baby hairs that can be a little frizzy. Let's wrap that out so we don't have something that's too curled around the face. Everybody's loving a little bit of a lived-in beachy curl texture. Where in a shorter style like myself, and I have a little bit of a, you know, chubbier cheek, higher cheekbone. We don't want to go too big with the curls there because that's only going to emphasize that area and just make you feel like your face is a little too round. So we're gonna unwrap that, let that curl in, and smooth out those ends. And almost done. And what's nice about the back once we get there is, you know, you can kind of clip up and get the hair out of your way so you're not fumbling to make sure you get every section. You know, if you get that hair clipped up out of the way, it's gonna be easier for you to manage. And let's get this piece right by the face. Smooth that, a little bit of heat, curl that in there. Loosening up that clamp so we're not pulling. We're gonna unwrap and smooth out those ends. Look how nice that turned out. So now for our back, we got these sides done. Let's go ahead and grab for a little bit of Bumble's Thickening Dry Spun Spray. This is my favorite. I love not only the scent, but it also just adds that nice little bit of grit to your hair whenever you're doing a curl. So right now, I'm just, you know, real easily taking that section up and out of my way. As you can see, it's kind of short back here, so we're just gonna start grabbing some pieces and give a little bit of a curl. Doesn't have to be perfect. As you layer on top of each other, it's gonna look a lot better, so don't fuss about what it looks like. If you think, oh, it's not curled enough or it's not gonna look good, it's right at the base, so you want it to be a little bit more relaxed. You don't wanna have that bubble at the bottom of your hair. Nobody tends to like that. So even though this looks kind of silly back there, once we get these curls layered on top of each other, it's gonna really come together nicely. So I just took another little section, if you can see back here, get that spray going on in there. And we're gonna take a piece of hair, wrap that in there, leaving those ends out a little bit. If you can see, we got those ends left out, so that we can have that straight look back here too. And I just unwrapped and I smoothed that. We're gonna take another section and we're gonna curl. So we took the one curl over here and put that back, and now we're taking this one and putting this back. So they're kind of gonna face each other, but it's not gonna be going in the same direction. And then I see some straight pieces here that I'm gonna grab. and get this curled. And this really, I mean, obviously, I'm doing this pretty quickly. If your hair is dry, I took my shower last night, so I washed my hair and I put some styling product in, and I kind of skipped the process of having to blow dry my hair. You know, I do freshen up my hair every day with the hair dryer, no matter if it's straight or I do some curls. The heat from the dryer helps to open that cuticle layer up. So it gets rid of any smells that might be going on in your hair, but it also burns off that little bit of oil. So it gives a really nice, fresh, not only a fresh feel, but fresh smell to your hair. You know, it's easy to do it that way than to always be grabbing for a product. As much as I love products, and I think that there's never a such thing as a bad hair day. If you're using the right products for your hair, you don't always need to be putting heat, or you don't always need to be using a dry shampoo, because essentially those products still are gonna build up on you. So just this morning, what I did is I took the hair dryer really quickly to my hair to kind of just freshen it up. Real quick, I took that one curl going this way, and so now I'm taking this right at the top, leaving my ends out. I am gonna drag that down a little bit, and I don't want to unravel this because I kind of like that height I get on the back of my hair from leaving a little bit of a tighter curl. And not to mention that this will it will drop throughout the day a little bit, so don't ever feel like, oh, it's a little too much, because as soon as you walk out, whatever the elements may be, if it's too hot, if it's too cold, if there's snow, rain in the air, that's gonna affect your hair and it's gonna let it drop out a little bit for you. So we're on the last piece. As you can see, I just was grabbing pieces. If I had the hair sectioned out, I knew where I needed to grab, and it was super easy. This is looking a little funny. I might fix that. But look how nice you got that. Now, I just didn't really like the bottom of this, so I'm just gonna quickly touch that up at the bottom. Put a little bit of that wave in. I don't need to go to the root because I was already happy with the way that that looked. And look, I fixed that. It was a little weird. So now we're gonna take Bumble's Thickening Dry Spun, which is so amazing in scent. But we're gonna go ahead and spritz that through the bottom, and always focusing at the root. That's what's gonna give you some hold, not allow your hair to be so flat falling to your head. So now I'm just gonna kinda go through and grab at it, pull a little bit, and just really not be too perfect with it. We want this to be a little messy. We want it to be lived in, not that we perfectly curled our hair today. Rub it around, rub your hands at your root, get that nice volume going. Look how nice. And I just love when you do a little wave or a curl to your hair and it accentuates your color so nice. Well, this was my first video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much.